confrontation. News in detail right after this. Now the news in detail. A tour operator was killed in the tourism resort town of Negril, Westmoreland, following a gun attack by men traveling on a motorcycle Monday night. The dead man was identified as 53-year-old Byron Gray of West End, Negril. Reports were that about 11:10 p.m., Gray was driving his Toyota Voxy motor car along the East End Main Road with two passengers on board. When, upon reaching a section of the road, he was pounced upon by two men traveling on a motorcycle. The men opened fire on Gray, and he lost control of the vehicle, which crashed into an embankment. He was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead upon arrival. It was not clear if the two passengers suffered any injuries. No motive has been established for the deadly attack. The police in Hanover are probing whether two men arrested at a supermarket in Hopewell on Monday were robbers or contract killers. The men are being questioned by investigators. It was reported that two illegal firearms and several rounds of ammunition were taken from the men, whose identities are being withheld pending further investigations. Reports further stated that three men had been lurking at the supermarket over the course of the day on Monday. Sometime around 8 p.m., the owner of the supermarket became suspicious and decided to review his surveillance system. He reportedly noticed that the same three men had been frequenting the business and what appeared to be a firearm in their waistband and alerted the police, which dispatched a team. An operation was launched and two of the men were apprehended. The third accomplice escaped and is currently being sought by the police. Meanwhile, a police team on patrol on Tower Street, Kingston, intercepted a robber minutes after he committed a robbery and seized a firearm on Monday, August 15. The man has since been charged with robbery with aggravation and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Charged is 19-year-old Rashane Sinclair off Crescent Road, Kingston 13. According to reports from the Central Police, about 5:45 a.m., Sinclair boarded a Toyota Probox that was being operated as a taxi. He allegedly robbed a female passenger along with the driver of their cellular phones. The driver was then tied up and left along the roadway. The female passenger escaped unhurt. Sinclair drove off in the taxi along Tower Street, disobeying the one-way road sign. A police team in the area signaled him to stop. However, he sped off and crashed into a wall at the intersection of West and Tower Streets. He was accosted, and one Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol, along with 6 9mm rounds of ammunition, were taken from him. His court date is being arranged. A Jamaican man, Tavares Bulgin of Palmer's Cross, Clarendon, drowned, and his brother Tavon is still missing and feared dead after a late-night jump off a popular bridge in Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, United States on Sunday. According to the Vineyard Gazette, an extensive recovery effort for the second man was halted on Monday after what is said was a late-night group jump off the big bridge on Beach Road in Oak Bluffs. Oak Bluffs Police Chief Jonathan Searle said 9 people jumped off the bridge late Sunday night. It is understood that 2 of the 9 got into trouble swimming. Tavares and Tavon are the sons of Reverend Keith Bulgin, the pastor of the Palmer's Cross New Testament Church of God. Edgartown Police Lieutenant Chris Dolby said police received a call around 11 p.m. Sunday stating that a group of swimmers had jumped off the bridge and alerting police to swimmers in distress. Tavares was found at 6:20 a.m. on Monday. The police chief said the search radius includes all of Sengekontaket Pond and stretched several miles offshore. Reports are that within minutes of the call, Oak Bluffs and Edgartown rescue boats were searching the area, and soon after, helicopters, boats, and divers conducted multiple searches inside and outside the pond. Marker buoys were dropped and followed, and their paths and locations searched multiple times, according to the Oak Bluffs Fire Chief Nelson Wirtz. Shoreline searches were conducted on foot and by UTV along the northern-facing shoreline from the small bridge to a bend in the road as well as the pond side. About 11 a.m., responders announced that they were calling off the main body of the search. A Coast Guard cutter will remain offshore until later the evening. The bridge, primarily known as the Jaws Bridge because of its role in the movie filmed on the island, is a popular spot for jumping despite signs telling people not to jump. You're listening to Midday News on Suncity 104.9 FM. The time is now 8 minutes after 12. We now continue with regional news. Barbadian consumers will be paying less for gasoline and diesel come Friday, as Prime Minister Mia Mottley announced that the price of fuel at the pump will be capped for the next 5 months. Gasoline will be sold for $2.24 US per liter, while diesel will be US $2.01 until January 31, 2023. During a wide-ranging press conference on Monday, Motley said that the cap on the value-added tax on gasoline and diesel, which was put in place 5 months ago, would be kept in place. She expressed that while things are difficult even for the government, they feel it is their obligation to shield Barbadians more. Prime Minister Motley added that periodically, government would have to make whole the Barbados National Oil Company, the importers of the products. She stressed that this adjustment was necessary to give some level of predictability to consumers and those people whose livelihood depend on gasoline and diesel. Motley pointed out that there had been a decline in prices, so government was not capping at the highest possible price. The Prime Minister disclosed that earlier in the day, she had discussions with Deputy Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw, Senior Minister Kerry Simmons, who has responsibility for the Ministry of Energy and the Public Service Vehicle Associations. On the international scene, the White House on Tuesday announced that United States First Lady Jill Biden tested positive for COVID-19 and was experiencing mild symptoms. President Joe Biden continues to test negative after recently recovering from the virus, but will wear a mask indoors for 10 days as a precaution. The Bidens have been vacationing in South Carolina since August 10, and the 71-year-old First Lady began experiencing symptoms on Monday. Jill Biden, like her husband, had been twice vaccinated and twice boosted with the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. She has been prescribed the antiviral drug of Paxlovid and will isolate at the vacation home for at least 5 days. Her communications director, Elizabeth Alexander, said in a statement that close contacts of the First Lady have been notified, and she's currently staying at a private residence in South Carolina and will return home after she receives 2 consecutive negative COVID tests. According to the White House, the president tested negative for the virus on Tuesday morning, but will be wearing a mask indoors for 10 days. He plans to return to Washington on Tuesday to sign Democrats' landmark climate change and health care bill this afternoon, before continuing to his home in Wilmington, Delaware. Stay tuned to Midday News on Suncity 104.9 FM. We'll have sports right after this. we continue with news in sports. Thomas Tuchel and Antonio Conte have been charged by the Football Association FA after their heated confrontation at the end of Chelsea's 2-2 draw with Tottenham on Sunday. The two hot-headed coaches appear to have been antagonizing one another during the second half of the dramatic Premier League encounter at Stamford Bridge. On the final whistle shortly after Harry Kane headed in Spurs' equalizer, Tuchel and Conte shook hands, with the Chelsea boss pulling the Italian back when he did not make eye contact. This sparked further words being said and several backroom staff from both teams having to separate the two, which resulted in Tuchel and Conte being shown red cards by referee Anthony Taylor. The FA said in a statement on Monday that Thomas Tuchel and Antonio Conte have both been charged with a breach of FA Rule E3 following the Premier League fixture between Chelsea FC and Tottenham Hotspur FC on Sunday, August 14, 2022. It is alleged that the behavior of both managers was improper following the end of the fixture. Thomas Tuchel and Antonio Conte have until Thursday, August 18, 2022, to provide their respective responses. Stats Perform also understands the FA is looking into Tuchel's post-game comments about referee Taylor, whose performance he criticized. The FA's investigation will focus on whether Tuchel has brought the game into disrepute by implying bias or attacking the integrity of a referee. And still on sports, world champion Shelly Fraser-Pryce will headline another stellar women's 100-meter field at the Memorial Van Damme in Brussels on September 2, the last Wanda Diamond League meeting for the series final in Zurich. Fraser-Pryce, who won her 5th world title earlier this summer, has been on stellar form in the Diamond League with world-leading victories in Silesia and Monaco. She is currently 3rd in the 100-meter qualification standings and will likely secure her place in the final when she competes in Lausanne on August 26th. In Brussels, she will go up against 2019 Diamond Trophy winner Dina Asher-Smith, who will return to Diamond League action in Belgium after she attempts to defend her 3 European titles in Munich this week. U.S. sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson and Ivory Coast Marie-José Talou will also be in the blocks in Brussels. Talou, who is the only woman to have already locked down her place in the final, securing qualification when she stormed to a 3rd-place finish and an African record of 10.72 in Monaco last week. The Brussels Diamond League will be the 12th meeting of the season and the last chance for athletes to earn points in their bid to qualify for the Wanda Diamond League final in Zurich on September 7 to 8. And now for your weather forecast. There is a tropical wave east of Jamaica. Additionally, there is a trough across the central Caribbean. The tropical wave is expected to move across the island today. Meanwhile, the trough is expected to linger across the region over the next few days. This afternoon, expect scattered showers across the most parishes with thunderstorms across western and central parishes. Now to end this newscast, we take a look at the main stories once more. On the local scene, a tour operator killed by gunmen traveling on motorcycle. Gunmen held at supermarket in Hopewell, Hanover. Gunmen held minutes after attack on taxi driver and stealing car. And Jamaican drowns brother missing after jumping off Jaws Bridge in the U.S. On the regional scene, Barbados Prime Minister announces cap on gas prices. On the international scene, U.S. First Lady Jill Biden tests positive for COVID-19. And in sports, Tuchel and Conte challenged by FA after London Derby confrontation. And that's it for news and sports from the Suncity News Center at this time. Do join us again at 5 p.m. for more news on this station. Remember to follow us on our socials on Instagram and Twitter. Look for us at Suncity 104.9 FM and on Facebook at Suncity Radio 104.9